Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. And I know it has been a very long time since I've uploaded any video, but due to personal reasons I was not able to upload a video. But anyways, I'm back right now and I will try to upload at least 2 videos a month, and I'll try to be very regular henceforth. Okay, so sorry guys for the interruption which happened for the last 2 months, but I'll try to be very regular. And coming to the topic today I want to discuss about this video will be basically for budget gamers. Okay, so there are many gamers out there who are actually waiting for the prices to reduce right now, because if you see, the prices of all the hardware have been at all-time high, especially the graphic card. Okay, and all those gamers who love to make a Ryzen system have to wait, because the Ryzen prices are also very high. And instead of buying a Ryzen system or building a Ryzen system right now, I would recommend you to actually wait for some time and then maybe build. So right now the prices for Ryzen system are very high. Instead, it would make sense, if you want to build a gaming PC, you have to go towards Intel, because Intel prices are pretty average, and you may get a good deal in some places. So it makes more sense to make an Intel build. And all you guys also know the Ryzen performance with Intel is almost same. When it comes to budget, it is almost same. Intel is better at certain games, whereas the Ryzen is better in certain games. But when it comes to editing, Ryzen is hands down the best. It beats Intel. But if it comes to gaming, budget gamers, they love the Intel i5. So it is the best processor to select if you're making a gaming build. So today's video is about that only, but it's not about the processor, it's about a motherboard. So today we are going to discuss a motherboard which you can use if you're planning to make an i5 build that is very minimalistic, and it is actually a basic motherboard which you can use to pair it with your i5 10400 processor. So if you're using this processor only, that is i5 10400, then you can use this motherboard. It is a very basic motherboard, but it gets the job done and you won't have any performance issues as such. So today it is a small review. I have been using this motherboard since 6 months, so today I'm making a small review to let you know about the features and about what all issues I faced with regarding to this motherboard. Okay, so first let's see. On the box, if you see that they have mentioned it is a Gigabyte H4110 S2 motherboard. So this motherboard is there. It is a very basic motherboard. It is absolutely basic. That means it doesn't even have an HDMI port. Now the other versions are there of the same motherboard, H4110 S2H, and also whichever is there, suppose it is S2H, it might have an HDMI port, so you have to see accordingly and buy. But this is the most basic motherboard. This has a VGA port, and that's why it is called as H4110M S2. So it has nothing, it has no ports behind. DVI ports it doesn't have an HDMI port, it has only a VGA port. So S2 means it has VGA port, so that you should remember. So based on the last 2 digits, they are deciding the display ports on the motherboard. So this is Gigabyte's way. Other brands might have their own way, so I'm just talking about this motherboard. So if you want to buy this is available on Amazon for almost 5,800 rupees or 5,700, keeps changing, but it's a good deal if you're buying, if you want to pair it with a 10400. Now this motherboard comes with almost all the basic features. If you see, it has 6 ports behind. Okay, so it has 6 USB ports behind, and also I think it gives you compatibility to put 4 USB ports in front. Almost 10 USB ports you have compatibility. Then it has an Ethernet port, okay, where you can connect your LAN cable and play games. Also secondly, it misses on wireless LAN, so that is not an issue. You can always buy a dongle and connect it to any USB port and use it. So that is there. It misses out on Bluetooth also. Okay, so these are features you're going to miss out since it is a very budget motherboard. Then secondly, if I have to tell you, then it has a 8 channel audio output. It has, I think it has 6 channel audio output, but I'll talk about the audio later. Okay, then coming to the RAM compatibility, it has 2 RAM slots, okay, where you can put, I have personally put 8 GB per slot, and total I was using 16 GB, but you can also use 16 GB in each slot and make it 32 GB, so that also is there. Okay, then it supports, even though it supports till i7 processors, Okay, I would not recommend you to use anything. I won't recommend you to use an i7 also in this motherboard. It's only till i5 you can use i5, that to the lock processor. If you're planning to do any overclocking, it is not possible. Okay, so you have to see ki RAM also cannot be overclocked in this motherboard. The RAM also will be overclocked max at 2666 megahertz. Okay, and that too after you enable the extreme memory XMT, extreme memory tuning, or whatever that thing you have to enable from the BIOS, then it is going to get activated. If not, it is not going to get activated. And the processor also you cannot overclock. Okay, it has to run on stock speeds, or a lock processor would be best for this board. You can ideally pair it with an i3 or an i5 or even a Pentium. If you are able to find something which supports a Pentium processor, this board is actually good. Okay, for those people who are building builds who have cabinets which are actually closed, okay, for those people this board is actually ideal. You can save money on this. Definitely you won't lose on performance. Okay, there are some downsides. I'll tell you later what happens when you spend more. So I told you about the RAM, I told you about the processor support, okay, and about the PCIe Express. It has 16 lanes, so you can connect a single graphic card which will work absolutely fine. You won't have any issues with the graphic card. Okay, coming to the extra features in this board, I have to tell you the main thing which will matter for anyone is the amount of headers, amount of fan headers. So remember, this board has only one extra fan header. That means it is one for the CPU and one extra that you can connect to your one extra fan header which you can connect your cabinet fans to the motherboard and use PWM settings. Because they are hybrid fan headers. You can connect a pump, or you can connect maybe fans, whatever it is. But obviously, who's going to connect a pump in such a low end motherboard? But you can connect technically. Okay, it is a hybrid fan header, and it gives you one extra fan. You can use that fan, you won't have any problem as such. But then make sure, if you are having more than one fans, you will have to buy a splitter and then connect this motherboard. So that is the first issue which I wanted to tell you out there. Okay, you might have this problem if you are having a cabinet which has many fans and you want to connect them. You have to use a splitter here. You have to buy it extra. Okay, so this is one thing you have to buy extra. Secondly, you have to buy the wireless card extra. Okay, and third, you have to buy a Bluetooth dongle extra. Though these three things you have to buy extra if you want to get the maximum functionality, because this motherboard misses out on that. Okay, secondly, if I have to tell, if you have ARGB fans on your motherboard, okay, then you're on your own. Unless you have a controller separately, ARGB fans cannot be synced with this motherboard. It has only a RGB header, okay, on the motherboard. That was a single RGB header. So ARGB you cannot sync on this motherboard. So that is there. It is an issue. I want you to know that this motherboard has no kind of special diagnostic BIOS, LEDs and all. It doesn't help you to, if there is any problem, it won't just boot. It's not going to boot, and you'll be thinking, what is the problem? So unlike this MSI who have that. They have those 4 lights which tell you what the issue is with what. At least it helps you to diagnose what is the issue. This motherboard doesn't have any diagnostic LEDs which help you to know what the issue is with. So you're on your own on this, because this is absolutely bare bones. Okay, so these are the problems which are there, but it's not a deal breaker as such. Okay, for some people, I know wireless LAN might be a deal breaker, but then you have to spend little more money and you will get better boards. If you spend also, okay, now let me talk about the amount of SATA ports. So this has 4 SATA ports. Okay, so you can connect up to 4 SATA devices using this SATA ports, and 1 wire is provided in the box. 4 wires you will have to purchase if you want to connect more devices. Secondly, I think there are 2 wires provided in the box. Okay, so 2 wires were provided and 2 I have to purchase separately to connect more SATA devices. Okay, this board misses out on M.2 SSDs, that is either SATA or NVMe. Both are absent on this board, so that's there. If you are having NVMe drives, you cannot connect them to this. M.2 is not present on this board. But if you pay little more, there is a variant of H4110 only, slightly more, I think 500 or 600 more. If you pay, you can get that variant which will support, I think, M.2. So just go to the Gigabyte website and please check it there. You will be able to find what I'm talking about. So there are many smaller versions which have few features, like the same board. If you pay little more, you can get the same board with an HDMI port. So for those people who are planning, okay, so those people who are planning to use an iGPU for now, okay, and they are waiting for the prices of the GPU to come down, and then you're going to upgrade. Okay, if you're planning to upgrade later, then make sure you're buying a H4110 variant which has a HDMI port behind. Okay, it's not this model, but there is a model, I think it is H4110 DS or something like that. It will be DSH or something, it will be there. H should be there in the model name. So that will have an HDMI output, so you can directly connect your motherboard to your monitor and get the display. Okay, because my board which is there, it doesn't have an HDMI, it has a VGA cable. Now with VGA cable I had to connect to my monitor. Luckily my monitor does have VGA output, but now modern monitors absolutely do not have those VGA output. They are very outdated, and you might have this issue. You might also face the same issue what I'm talking about. So it's better you buy something which is little bit future proof. At least HDMI should be there. That is actually basic, and I don't know how they should have put this in i5 in this motherboard. Okay, so these are the only few issues I faced with this motherboard. Overall, I'll tell you, when I play games, okay, there is absolutely no problem. The graphic card, I was using a Gigabyte 1660 Super. Okay, 1660 Super GTX graphic card. Absolutely, I had no issues. The frame rates are good. You won't feel any lag whatsoever. Okay. Secondly, the VRMs which are there, the VRM sections which are there, they do not have any kind of heat sink as such. They are just open, and the temperatures of the VRM is around 60 degrees. They remain around 50 to 60 degrees, which is pretty average. It is pretty okay. They are not the best VRMs out there. That's why I have not recommended them to use with an i7. Even i7 at stock might hurt this board. Okay, so it's better to use an i5 locked. Okay, so don't use a very powerful processor and pair it with H4110. Even though technically Gigabyte does say that it supports an i5, but I'm not quite sure. Even Gamers Nexus has advised against using expensive processors and pairing it with very basic boards, so I would also not recommend the same. It's better you avoid, just use it with an i5 locked processor. That is a max. Beyond that, don't use any K version of a processor with this board. Okay, simply it's not made for those. It is a very basic office come home basic work motherboard. Okay, so gaming wise, if you are going to just play games randomly, you won't have any problems as such. If you are using a good graphic card, even if you're using the Intel integrated graphics also, the performance is not going to change whatsoever, because motherboard doesn't make any change in the performance as such. Maybe in overclocking it will change, but as such, as a person, I cannot tell you ki it's going to change. I didn't notice anything when I upgraded my system to keeping the same processor and upgraded to a higher motherboard with respect to performance. Okay, but with respect to audio quality, definitely there is a change. The audio, even though this mentions high quality audio capacitors present, the audio quality is not up to the mark when you're using high-end speakers. If you're using basic earphones, you won't notice that. But if you're using a high-end maybe 4.1 or 6.1, you will notice that the audio quality is not that great. And definitely, if you pay more money, you're going to get more better audio quality. And that is the reason why there are more expensive boards. Okay, like if you see, there is a more expensive B460 variant. There is a variant which is available for 7,000, and there is a variant which is also available for 15,000 in B460. So that is the reason, because more you pay, more features you get. Performance might not change, but the features, the features like better audio quality, more NVMe slots, then more SATA ports. USB ports might remain same, but then diagnostic LEDs you get. There are many features, more RGB fan headers, ARGB synchronization, then more sensors present on the motherboard. Multiple features are there which actually make your building PC building experience much easier, and actually it makes a overall more fun experience. So the thing is, if you do have more money, you can actually spend, but the sweet spot to build, if you're building with an i5, would be to spend not more than 12,000 rupees, 12 to 13,000 rupees on a B460 motherboard. Okay, so don't spend more than that. If you're spending more than that, then I would suggest you go for a Z490, but then don't pair it with an i5, because it's better to pair a Z490 with an i7, so that you can unlock the total potential of your motherboard. i5 on a Z490 would be underperformed, so that's there. So guys, this was my review, and I think I have almost told almost all the parts. Still, if I missed out on anything, if you want to know anything more about this motherboard, you can ask me in the comment section and I'll try to answer it. So if you like this video, press the like button and do subscribe to my channel. I'll be bringing you more content shortly. Thank you, goodbye, take care.